Welcome, loves. Welcome to My Ancestors Said with the first episode called
The Download.
Okay.
Yay!
Oh, so some of y'all might know me, some of y'all might not know me, but UZ is gonna know me. My name is Raven motherfucking Rose.
Period. That's
Tom. Okay, she is an astrologer. She is a tarot reader. She's a good dick sucking bitch, and she been studying the craft for like 10 motherfucking years. So she knows her shit. Ask about it. Ask about it. I'm here with my sisters, my Capricorn queens. Let's take it, ladies. Starting to the lady right here to the left.
What's up, y'all? And again, some of y'all may know me, some of you guys may not. My name is Kia, but everybody calls me the motherfucking Creole Queen.
Yes,
okay.
See the crown.
I do spiritual consultations, tarot readings, and I also make spiritual products.
You a spiritual ass bitch.
Yes, she is. She's the supreme. She's the supreme. Mm-hmm.
Hello, my loves. My name is Katie Wilson. Katie motherfucking Wilson. I am
the name.
Sprinkle it. Thank you.
I am a connoisseur of creativity. I'm an entertainer, a comedian, an artist, an actress, a director. You know, I'm just that bitch.
An enchantress.
Energy worker, root
Google
worker.
Ask about it.
all of that.
And so we wanted to come at you guys. This is our pilot episode. We just wanted to come at you guys. This is the titled The Download. We are going to be talking about an array of different topics on this podcast. So we all decided just to come together on 12/21 to send love and light to everybody in the collective. Okay, it's fucking time. Okay, it's time to put up or shut up. It's time to shit or get off the pot. It's time to step into your purpose or be led astray.
Ashe. It's the tea.
And it sure is delicious. Shout out to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to actually start with our first topic. We're going to bounce it over here to Raven, the astrologist, so we can just talk a little bit about what we should be expecting here.
So y'all, we was talking about, so I'm not going to get into the mumbo jumbo because half y'all bitches be like, I'm confused. What the fuck that mean? So I know y'all been trying to figure out, okay, December 21, and why the fuck this is so important? Why is this the time? You know, why is everything going to restart on its head? Well, this year has been kind of crazy. We've had several eclipses. We've had these super moons over, thing. And all this is reconstructing the way we think and process. And if we follow any form of magic here, how we think, the universe is mental and the mental is the universe. So this is integral to cultural creation. This is integral to how you create, how you manifest, and also how you get out of victimhood mentality. And the main thing about this 21st is that it's time to start kingly or queenly bullshit. Okay, this is the time to get your ass in the throne, get your scepter, get your crown,
and get on your bullshit.
Get on your bullshit.
Walk in your essence.
Okay.
Walk in your essence. But again, no childish shit. So this is where it's like, because you got Saturn. Saturn is like your disciplinarian, okay? That's Matthew Knowles telling you to run and sing at the same motherfucking goddamn time.
The king.
Yes, Matthew Knowles sitting up here. Come on, baby. Get it. Sing louder, bitch. Did I hear that, no, bitch? And then you have Jupiter, who is the expansion. So think of this like your Jay-Z energy, okay? This is the guy who can get you famous, who can walk you into the middle of the biggest producers, the biggest entrepreneurs, and sign you in and get you known. So you have these two energies working in hand unison together. All right, that's what makes the shit so fantastic. However, there's no building or creation without destruction. It is a demolition time too. So some of y'all need to get rid of these toxic relationships. Some of y'all need to figure out what you're doing with your finances, figure out that relationship with that kind of stuff. It's going to be different for everybody, but this is really the time to get your shit mentally in order, because again, your vision starts now. Everything starts now. And again, changing how you think, changing how you think about and how you plan things out, it's going to make you that much more. And I believe this is conjunct in Aquarius. Now, we all talked about age of Aquarius in this bitch, okay? Aquarius, which is information. Aquarius is the knowledge of the gods, y'all. That's why the water bear is the knowledge of the gods. So you're thinking about the fountain of youth here, okay? The ancestors are also unlocking some major secrets. A lot of things that are happening into our, ancestral DNA as well. And we say DNA, like, what the fuck are you talking about, bitch? Is this the Matrix? Yes, this is the Matrix. Did you not recognize? Did you not recognize?
Simulation. But you still got loyalty and royalty inside your DNA.
Exactly.
And if you don't believe that, somebody done told you wrong.
Exactly. So this is the time where your natural talents start to get unearthed. If you're a natural communicator, and if you need to talk to me later, we can hook that up, sis. We can hook that up. I can tell you what all your shit. But all your natural gifts. If you're a communicator, an entrepreneur, a creative, a visionary, all this stuff is getting activated. But of course, it has to destroy, those lower level frequencies, which is the low self-esteem. And oftentimes this whole year has been about dismantling the trauma signature. Mm-hmm. So everybody's been forced to deal with and cope with their traumas. And again, there are some coping mechanisms that we're not going to be utilizing anymore. And this day, some of y'all might be feeling upset stomachs because guess what? Your diets are changing because your body is not going to be able to handle some of this shit no more. Like, girl, they're going to take away bread from me. I love bread.
That's a shame.
But
like that.
It's fucked up. But I love bread, but my body is not in agreement with it.
R.I.P. R.I.P. to the bread. R.I.P. to the ribs. Okay, R.I.P. to the bread, R.I.P. to the ribs, R.I.P. to that devil dick.
The devil dick.
R.I.P. to those negative thoughts. Okay.
And sometimes that devil dick be like a Maxwell Street Polish, y'all, with the hot peppers and the mustard, and then you add the cream. No more Maxwell Streets. But yeah, geez, this is like some game-changing type of energy.
Yep.
That we're going to be experiencing. And mind you, it's not just one event. This is a build-up of several different things. And it's going to take, I want to say, me personally, it's going to take a good 3 months to settle into it. So everybody should be feeling like, I'm confused, like the shit you do don't work for you no more, okay? So it's just, and I mean, seriously, like you might wake up one morning, I don't want to take this route to work no more. Or you might wake up and be like, shit, I need to quit my job. What the fuck is going on here?
What is it that I really want to do? What is it that I really want to manifest?
Fuck all this shit. Let me pursue that shit.
Yeah. What does my inner child want?
Yes, and taking some big risks, because this energy is not without taking risks. You can't play it safe with this energy anymore either.
That put up or that shut up.
And it's also letting you step into your authority. Now, also because we're raising up different kings, we're also going to be raising up different war zones. Because, this king and this king, sometimes they like,
King of class.
Yeah, so you gotta, and then this is also a big time of reassigning soul families. So if you're in the thought process of soul families, where you're like, man, my sis, back when we was in diapers, we've been cool forever. Now this bitch is acting sideways. I can't communicate with this heifer. What the fuck is going on here? Well, guess what? Y'all shifting assignments. So it's about releasing folks with love, care, and concern. This has been happening since October. Actually, since September, the full moon in September, actually, where we've been seeing reassignment and reshifting of soul families in the collective so that we can actually become closer and more in touch with a more authentic version of our souls and not necessarily with the trauma program.
Trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding.
Yeah,
exactly.
trauma bonding. Yeah.
And we've been doing
We've all been there.
And we've been doing the trauma bonding since 2010.
Yep.
That majority of relationships from 2010 to 2019 were primarily forms out of trauma, actually. So now we're moving into more authentic soul expressions of that. And then some of y'all like, am I gonna meet my soulmate? Am I gonna meet my karmic? Oh, you don't want to meet your karmic.
My twin flame.
And the thing is, it's like, yes, but these motherfuckers may well be challenging to you. It all depends on what your karmic blueprint looks like, what your astral map looks like. For some of us, we are releasing and going into more healthier. Some of us, we're actually getting into challenge relationships because we need that oil press. You have been like the oil press where you got to press them olives to get that beautiful oil out there, and then you can do everything with that. That's what some of us are going to be dealing with here. Now, because this is Aquarius, this is going to hit air signs really heavy. It's going to hit fire signs really heavy. I mean, y'all should feel pretty much scattered during this time and trying to pull it together. Earth and water signs were a little different because I think we've already been in tune with this. For talking to my water and my earth signs, we seem to have understood this download for a very long time. It's just that it's a lot of emotional upheaval. And that's where it is. Whereas the fire and the air signs, it's a mental upheaval. For the earth and water signs, it's more of a emotional wreckage.
So y'all get ready. Get ready. Be prepared for what's coming ahead.
But it's not all doom and gloom, y'all. Like this is for you to get your master blueprint. This would be the perfect time to get your, career readings, the perfect time to get your, your life path, life goal oriented type energies, and to really kind of, we're unlocking blockages to the soul plan. So some of y'all who have been like, what's my purpose? Y'all gonna find out your purpose before the end of the year. I guarantee that.
Okay.
Because everybody's got to get moving. The collective has to come up. So if you don't know your purpose, you can't fall behind. It's time for you to know. It's time for you to get into awareness here.
And surrender to the messages that are coming to you right now, because that's very, very important as well. A lot of us ask a lot of questions like, well, how am I going to get this? And I don't understand how to do this, and I don't understand how to do that. And then we pray or we meditate and we fast and we ask for certain things. And then when things be presented to us as messages, we reject them. When the divine tries to come to you and give you that download and give you that divine message, you reject it because of fear. Or if they are trying to move certain things out of your way for new things to come in, you reject that as well, instead of being in the energy of surrender. And I think that's one of the big things that we're going to see as well, because the spirit's not fucking playing right. So you're not going to have a choice but to surrender, or your ass gonna get strong arms. And that's just the way it is at this point, because they've been building us up to this point for so long. They've been building us up to the point of getting the downloads, of getting those strong downloads, understanding who you are, is understanding why you're here, and getting back in alignment with your divine life purpose. So when you get in the energy where you're asking for these things to come to you and then you're rejecting them when they come, they don't have time for that bald head hoe shit. They're going to sit you the fuck down, okay, and clear the path. And if they got to drag you along kicking and screaming, then that's going to be what it's going to be. And that definitely will be the case. So you're going to see some crazies out here. And you're also going to see some people with a lot of entities attached to them as well.
And we're going to see, like, society as a whole, like, you thought, so 2020 was like, what the fuck? And we're still going to have some what the fuck moments up to March of 2021, to be honest with you. I mean, because the way some of this energy played out, some of this energy can look similar to what we've seen in 9/11. And I hate to put that out there, but be prepared. We're going to see upheaval in our country, in our nation, point blank. And so if your vibration ain't right, the shit you might see might tear you down. But if you can ride the wave, then you'll see this as an opportunity to grow and to build the collective and to find your soul families. Because guess what? Because we're all scattered, guess what? Now we're out in the open to find each other. Okay?
I like the way you put that, right? Yeah, okay. If we wasn't recording, I'd be writing this shit down. We're gonna get to it later. Okay. Period. Okay.
And the thing is, sometimes you gotta be lost in order to find your true soul. And all that shit. It's a paradox, right? It's a paradox. You can't find what you truly want, because some of y'all sitting, in certain situations, and the universe is telling you to go in the wilderness. And now we're finally going into the wilderness. It's like the great pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage year, okay? So you're finding new homes. There's gonna be a lot of folks moving around this time. There's gonna be a lot of folks starting new ventures. Like we said, it's a pilgrimage. So you're just getting started. 2020, came in here with a big bitch Corona with her dress, knocking
all this shit over. Fuck y'all birthdays.
Fuck y'all family outing.
Fuck y'all cookouts. Fuck school. Fuck this school.
Oh yes. Although I'm gonna be honest, I bitches love quarantine. I love saying it.
Okay. Yeah. You like it, Katie?
Because I'm just a naturally quarantined ass bitch. So it's like, now that the rest of the world be having to be quarantined, like I love when everything first got shut down.
Yeah.
Because people want to call me, ask me like, hey, you want to come? You want to go do this? Because I'm like an inside type of bitch. Like I'm in hermit mode right now. And to all my bitches in hermit mode, don't rush the hermit mode process, okay? Don't rush that shit. Because I be trying to rush that shit sometimes. Then I come out and I be like, Universe be like, go back in, but
Sure.
you ain't ready yet.
Like, get your ass in.
Don't rush the process here.
That's surrender. Yeah,
I'm
surrender.
telling you, for those of us who have been watching this, being at home has not been a problem for me. In fact, I've been very, very grateful.
Yeah.
Very, very grateful. In fact, when they open shit up, I'm like, do I have to go back outside? I mean, I go outside, I'll go in nature and shit, but I don't want to necessarily interact with motherfuckers. Not unless you're part of the soul bloodline. I'm going to be a cloak and spell like, shh.
Yeah, because some of these other got other fucking faces, and you walk in and you see the mask, and you people eyes blinking, and you like, they look mighty reptilian to me. Let me make sure you ain't touch shit off the bloodline. Okay.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, they're all true and they're all not true. That's the paradox.
Yeah, because of how conspiracy theory even came the fuck about. Like, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
The word conspiracy theory was created to debunk shit that they don't want y'all to know. A fucking theory? Come on now.
A fucking theory. And the thing is, there's truth and lie in everything. So obviously the decoding game is going to become way more prominent.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking about decoding, like, y'all need to know the definition of words. Words mean things.
Mm-hmm.
And they often have times have more than one meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you're listening to whomever the fuck, you talk to, you have to be able to decode what the fuck they saying. For reals, because it's sometimes in broad daylight. Hand symbols, yes. Each of these fingers means something. Okay, so you have to look out for that. Colors. Now, we actually did some symbolic shit with these colors today. Okay, if you haven't figured it out, yes.
Because every color means it means something. Everything has meaning, and let everything that you do have a meaning to it. Don't just be out here wandering around, just bouncing here and bouncing there, whatever, is fad, whatever the fad is, and, have purpose, have a reason for the things that you're doing. Be mindful, present, and aware in your reality so that you can have a better future. I think that's a very, important gem there, guys, because if we out here and we're just allowing ourselves to be just pushed and led here and led there, and okay, well, so everybody's doing this, and so everybody's doing that, so I'm gonna do this because everybody's doing this. I'm gonna do it, this because everybody's doing that. I like to quote the motherfucking Maury sisters. I got my own mind. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken, bitch. Everybody else is taken. Be yourself. Test the spirit of the people that you're working with. Test the spirit of the people that you're coming in communication with, because some of these people are so fractured where these low-level entities are attaching to them, and they work in your ass, and you don't understand why you're not feeling well, and why energetically you're not feeling well after you've talked to someone, after someone has hugged you, after someone has touched you, after you've eaten a certain person's food, and you're wondering why shit isn't going the way that it needs to go. That person subconsciously might not even know that entity is attached to them. And I think that's one of the bigger things that we're going to see moving forward. We're going to be able to see behind the veil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we're going to be able to see these entities that are attached to people and how they're working on them, and how they're working on your ass, and how they've been feeding off of your energy. It's very, very important that we're mindful, present, and aware.
I have a question for you, sisters, okay? For my sissy poos.
Yeah.
So, in 2021, how do you plan to live more intentionally and authentically?
Oh, I plan on, and for 2021, I plan on working the hell out of my throat chakra, y'all. This year, I have been battling with my throat chakra all fucking year. And so I recently just got to a point where I'm like, I just want to live a 100% authentic life.
Yep.
Just like not be authentic like 50% of the time, or like, some of the time. No, I want to wear my motherfucking scars like motherfucking tattoos. Here, take a look. You want to see? You going to show me yours? Because they're beautiful. Mm. So that's where I'm at with it.
Okay. Oh, you said, I just want to be myself.
Yes.
Walk in my motherfucking purpose and motherfucking elevate and ascend.
I love that. Love that.
Well, for me, to answer your question, Ms. Raven Rose, for me, I am going to be utilizing the word no.
Yes. Oh, you said that so powerful.
Hallelujah.
No.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
No to your games. No to your bullshit. No to your playing. No to your draining. No to your sucking. No to your manipulating. No to your bald head hoe games. I'm going to do what I'm comfortable doing and nothing more, because everybody's doing what they're comfortable with and nothing more. So I'm going to take a page out of everybody else's book and just say fucking no. Okay. Setting boundaries is going to be the most important thing that I can do for myself. And so authentically, I am going to be setting that intention and learning how to say no and putting myself first for a change.
Yes.
Love that.
Amen to boundaries.
Amen to boundaries.
Amen to boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Boundaries is the new bae. Respect the boundaries and respect your own personal boundaries as well. So, divine kings and queens of the world, we all came together today because we have a message for you guys. We all brought a different topic to the table. And so we are all going to speak on our different topics and the message that we wanted to get out to the collective during this uncertain and kind of antsy time. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about was a spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. Now, I hear a lot of people that say like, oh, you know, people treat the, you know, spirituality, you know, like it's a fad and, you know, people are doing this. And yeah, you do have some people that are kind of jumping on the bandwagon. Okay, you're going to get that here and there, you know, but a lot of people are being shook the fuck awake right now. A lot of people come from royal bloodlines, okay? A lot of people, families ascended from the fucking constellations and came down here to bless the fucking earth with their light. And it's time for them to wake up. A lot of people are experiencing a lot of different symptoms of the awakening. And so for anybody that's watching this right now, that's just a little nervous about going through the awakening, it is really happening to a lot of people. I noticed back in 2017, there was really a shift in the spiritual community when everybody started to get jumped, you know, into it. Like, everything was much more amplified. And, you know, back then, you know, Kia was, you know, I was a devout Christian. I'm like, Hail Mary, head ass type shit. So I was definitely always a godly inclined person. You know what I mean? I've always kept the Most High first in my life, but I really started to get shook loose to what was taking place behind the veil. There's nothing wrong with being religious. Okay. My theory about religion is, you know, there's some level of suppression there. Okay. When you get into these churches and, you know, everybody is jumping around and, you know, the Holy Ghost and the Holy Ghost and the Holy Ghost. And then you walk out and then you're just continuing your life, but you're not going home like, well, who is the Holy Ghost? What is the Holy Ghost? Where does that energy originate from? That's flowing through me and taking my body over and got me speaking in tongues and flying all over the floor and doing all of this other stuff. So where is this energy coming from? So I got into the energy of trying to see what was going on behind the veil and trying to listen to the divine and not go in my path by the way that somebody else was trying to tell me to do it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you're on your awakening, there are a lot of different things that you experience. You start seeing shadow people. Okay.
Get their ass in check.
Okay. You start seeing the shadow people, the ringing in the ears, the sensation in your head, the sensation in your third eye, these constant headaches. I think anxiety is downloads. You know, personally, I feel like your body is reacting to a certain energy that's coming to you. So you're having a certain reaction to it. And so we tense up when that shit happens. And that's what creates that anxiety, as opposed to saying, Spirit, I surrender. I'm listening to you. What is it that you're trying to tell me? So you might be over there like, I'm having a fucking anxiety attack. Bitch is over. I need his ass. I need his ass. And then Spirit might just be trying to tell you like, the check in the mail. You know what I mean? So it kind of gets to the point where it's important for us to try to listen to what Spirit is trying to tell us. So when they started to really shake people awake a few years ago and put us in the arena of listening to the divine, as opposed to just feeling it and not understanding exactly what it was at the time. So another you know, symptom that you have when you're, you know, in that area of your spiritual awakening, you know, with the ringing of the ears and the tightness of the head and everything like that, you start to hear shit. You start to see shit. The dreams.
So vivid.
Okay. I don't believe in dreams. I just feel like shit's happening in another timeline, in another dimension. And it just really depends on where you go when you're asleep. You might be in another dimension. You might be in another timeline of your life. You might be in the past. You might be in the future. You might be in somebody else's past. You might be in somebody else's future. And I've talked to so many different women that have had the same dreams that don't know each other. And so I don't believe in dreams. I believe that we are being shown certain things. And so looking in, because the spiritual journey is inside of you. Your power is inside of you. If you have royalty and loyalty inside your DNA, then that shit is flowing through your veins. It's not something that you're going to find on the outside. So we always encourage that soul searching, that introspection, to understand exactly what it is that spirit is trying to tell you, these messages that are trying to get conveyed, and to put yourself in alignment. It's very, very important during the spiritual awakening that you fast. I'm a big fan of fasting, okay? And I'm a big fan of chicken too. So I don't say this shit lightly, okay? I don't say this shit lightly, okay? Because we smashed a 50-piece last night. I'm not about to sit here and say, fast your body at every second and every moment.
We even got some pozole in the back.
Because we gonna eat, you know what I mean? But we decent right now. There's nothing coming in like, okay, let me see what the fuck is going on. But when you're in the beginning stages of that, to fast your body, to starve those negative energies that are attached to you, those soul ties that are attached to you, those soul ties from that devil dick that's attached to you.
The devil dick.
And pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all.
Okay? See my cat co-sign? Yeah. And devil pussy. Okay, because there is such a thing. Okay? So dealing with purifying your vessel to balance you, so that you can receive the download in the way that the ancestors of old did, in divine light, in divine purpose. Okay, so it's not a thing that has you popping Zans. It's something that has you like, okay, I get it, I understand, I feel it, it's coming through. Now, what am I going to do with it? What am I supposed to be doing with it? I'm supposed to be assisting the collective. Am I supposed to be talking to people? I'm supposed to be warning people. Is this somewhere that I need to heal? So really, really listening to your ancestors. Hello, my ancestors say it. TM, bitch, my ancestors say it. Okay, really listening to your ancestors. And people say, like, the ancestors, that's like, voodoo and witchcraft. Like, how can we gonna demonize the people that came before us? That don't make no goddamn sense.
We'll wait. Make it make sense.
That's my mama's mama.
So that's my mama. That's me.
Yes. So you're gonna demonize yourself.
You are your ancestors.
It don't make no sense. It makes no sense. Okay, when you lift your people up. Okay, because even though people die, they're still around us. They're floating around in the 4D. And if we're in the 3D and they're in the 4D, that means that they can move some shit around for you and let you know some shit that's going on. So when you start to listen to your ancestors and they're trying to help you move forward in a certain fashion, it's very, very important that you open yourself up to listen to those messages that your ancestors have for you. And they'll guide you the right way to do things and activate that DNA.
Well, and the ancestor veneration is important, because my thing is, like, the whole point of the awakening is understanding you're not alone. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing I had to learn, and then connect with the ancestors, because when I was connecting with, my great-great-great-grandmothers or all that, it was to remind me that they were going through the same shit, that I was going through, just maybe in a different scenario. Mm-hmm. But the components of their situations were very similar. And that's how they were able to guide me.
Ooh, I resonate with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And you get that, and people are like, how the fuck do I get this? Like make an ancestor altar, set out some pictures, put out some food for them, light some candles, and just sit. Some of y'all niggas have a hard time sitting.
Yeah, sit.
Some of y'all niggas have a hard time. Y'all just want instantaneous, where it's about communion and community. Okay? You know how disrespectful it is when you go to your grandma and you just take a plate and just go by? No. So don't treat them like that. No, these are people who have contributed to your bloodline. And yes, there are some bloodlines that are contaminated, but I had to deal with my own contamination of bloodlines. Mm-hmm. But it's only with sitting with it and understanding, like, okay, I understand why you made this mistake and why you have these limited choices. Now let's cultivate better choices together, because this is how we heal bloodlines.
Mission,
Generational curse.
message. I got a download a few days ago about calling it generational curses. They told me to call it ancestral fractures.
Ooh.
Ancestral
Fractures, because your ancestors were people and they walked the earth and they had an earthly experience just like you did. And some of these ancestral fractures carry on. That pain carries on when they bear a child and when that child bears a child. And so if your ancestors are choosing you as their champion, you heal yourself and then you learn how to heal others. You heal your bloodline. You send that ball of light that you done accumulated in your solar plexus chakra and you shoot that shit straight through the timeline.
Like a Care Bear stare.
Okay.
Pow, bitches.
Oh, that's so powerful. Oh, the energy. Okay, yeah, ancestors. Okay. I like that.
Oh, geez. So what have been like your like favorite, I won't say favorite, but most powerful encounters with your ancestors?
I'm getting chills. I am getting chills. And I feel my grandma. She here. She's trying to come through me. I felt her trying to come through me, but I was like, Grandma, like, let me.
I got it. I got it.
Like,
She like, you talking about me?
Yes. So I would have to say my grandmother came to me, and I'm named after my grandmother. So now I just wear my name with pride, because every time somebody would ask me where I get my name from, I would be like, I'm named after my grandma. But I wouldn't say it like proudly, because I never really liked the name Katie. I always be like, oh, it's a white girl name. Like, I never liked the name. Now I'm like, yes, I'm motherfucking Katie. Katie Mae Tucker, bitches, don't play. But no, my grandmother came to me, and I surrendered. I didn't resist. I was very welcoming, and she led me to some shit that I'm now healing those ancestral fractures. So if it wasn't for her coming to me and me being accepting and surrendering, I probably wouldn't be here sitting here talking to y'all right now.
Testify on it.
Because your ancestors, they give you like a love and a light that you can't get here. You can't get that shit from here.
No, you can't.
Wow.
And I feel all her too. I feel her strong. I feel your grandmama. I think all three of our grandmas just sitting here chilling behind us.
Yeah, just sitting here chilling, sipping on something.
Yeah. We need a little yak in this tea. Okay, Raymond. So to answer your question, I want to say, when my grandmother passed, that is when shit got real for me. That's when things got real for me. The day that my grandmother passed, I had actually attended the funeral. And so, R.I.P. Melba. And so I met the funeral and we're at the repast and I'm just like, everybody's chilling and I'm just like in the bathroom, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm like, I have to get the fuck out of here. So I left. I drove back home and I didn't even tell anybody I was here. I parked in the back. I went in my backyard and I sat on one of my patio chairs and I fell asleep. I woke up. It was literally a fucking bee stinging me. And I'm just like, and then I just got up and I came upstairs and I told my sister, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. I'm like, there's something wrong with me. I said, I'm so scared. I've never been so fucking scared in my life. And she turned on all the lights and everything else. And she told me after that I was like moaning and talking and talking to somebody in my sleep and everything else. And I had woke up again at like maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I would say in total I had to be asleep for at least a good 10, 11 hours. And so when I woke up, everything was dark. Now I had told my sister, like, turn all the lights on. So I woke up, everybody gone in this complete darkness. But that time when I woke up, like, I was okay. Excuse me. I was okay. I went and I lay down in my bed, I closed my eyes, and then I opened my eyes and I looked in my mirror and I saw her standing there. And I just felt so much peace. And I woke up the next morning and my mother had called me and told me that she passed. And so I know that I was with her now. I understand that I was with her in the astral realm when she passed over. When my grandmother passed, all of her works, all of her energy, the things that my great grandmother had taught her, all of that shit started to flood me. And within 3 days' time, I could see. I could see spirits. I could see shadows. I could see things. I could recall my dreams and where I went. My memories, my childhood memories started to come back. And I was fucking terrified. If we keeping it a buck, I was so scared. I didn't know what was happening to me. You understand? But when my grandmother passed, all of that got passed down to me. And that was a hard weight to carry because I didn't understand what I was carrying at the time because I didn't know my people. And I didn't know who they were. And I didn't know what they did. And I didn't know about their works. And it was time for me to awaken and to understand that. And I did it very, very reluctantly. Very reluctantly. And so they got to whipping my ass because this wasn't the first time that spirit had came to me for an awakening. It wasn't the first time. It had happened to me maybe 5 years before that. And I had, practitioners walking up to me in the street telling me that I had a calling on my life and wanting to explain things to me. And I'm like, bitch, you can't get your crazy ass about my face. I don't have $5 for you, ma'am. Okay. Don't get roughed up on it. Leave me alone. So I really wasn't open to it. And it wasn't until after my grandmother passed over that channel really opened up for me. So I've had so many different experiences. Every day is something new that they're showing me. Every day is something new that they're teaching me. But I want to say, out of all of the experiences that I've had during my spiritual journey, being in the astral realm with my grandmother the day she died, because she died in a nursing home and she died alone. But she didn't die alone. That is number one on the list.
Ooh, girl. Because mine is definitely with my grandmother too. The power of three. We all have these grandmothers.
Shout out to our grandmothers. Okay. R.I.P. Carolyn Montgomery, the original Creole queen. What you talking about?
Warner May Ross, thank you for being my angel. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, ancestors.
Thank you.
Be here without y'all.
So my experience, so when my grandmother, she passed away on my mom's birthday, which was really, she chose my mom's birthday because she was closest to my mom. And I believe she was trying to tell I remember visiting her like the day before my mom's birthday, and she just couldn't speak. And I felt like her spirit was trying to tell me something. I couldn't understand. And I was kind of into the spiritual stuff. No one else in my family had tapped into, ancestors, divination. I grew up, Pentecostal as shit, okay? So, and I was actually ordained to be a minister when I was like, 5 or 6 years old. So they pegged me for preaching work young. And then I left the church because I was like, I need to find other things. And I think my initial awakening was 19 because I was like, oh shit. And I just didn't understand what the fuck. And I was kind of figuring it out on my own, and then so when my grandmother passed away, I remember now my mom's birthday is September, so she was September 1st, and then there was Halloween. Okay, so Samhain, or if our traditional pagans, y'all know Halloween and Samhain, Hallows Eve, the day for ultimate ancestor veneration. That's their day. That's like their Christmas, okay? Like, if you really think about it, all right? So of course, I went and made an altar for my grandmother. I set it up in my living room. I had she actually died wearing the shade of blue that you're wearing right now, Key.
Wow.
Yeah, I was kept looking at it like, oh my God. I remember, yes, confirmation, right? So I remember setting up her altar, putting up pearls. I got the Paul Bearer gloves that my brother had, everything, had her picture, had flowers, had blue candles. And when I lit the altar and I sat there in prayer, I saw her spirit just came right in front of me. Wow. And it shook me so much because there was kind of an understanding. She's like, I understand who you are now. And it was like, she always knew I was different, because I was a flower child. I was special as fuck, okay? But she was like, I understand why you're different. And I'm encouraging you, Raven Rose, to stay different. Okay, and it was actually through my grandmother, much like your situation, Kia, that I got comfortable with my gifts again. Because my gifts were actually like, I was kind of one of those psychic babies. I kind of just saw shit. I would stare at people. I did all kinds of things, and I didn't quite understand why I would do them. And I didn't understand, a lot of the situations I would get myself into. I was constantly staring at the moon, but I was just like, I was attracting certain energies and entities, and I didn't understand why, And so it was, and then that getting me for preacher work is because I was a natural root worker, and it took a minute to kind of reconnect and get back into the authenticity. I'm still breaking off, blockages or those ancestral fractures. I love that terminology.
They came through with that, yeah.
They came through because, my grandmother, I believe that we all had these abilities, and yet we didn't, they were different names, and we didn't know how to connect with them fully. And now we're at this point of my life where we're doing full integration. And we're trying out new things. We're trying out some things that worked. We're improving some things that didn't work. And for me, my grandmother was my champion in the spirit world. Another encounter I had was actually, I like what you said about dreams, because they're not always dreams. I went to the ancestral plane. My grandmother was standing with my grandfather. They were wearing all white, and they had a golden ankh in their hand, a chain, and they placed it over my head and said, okay, go
Girl,
forth.
I know you ain't trying to make me cry. I know she ain't trying to make me cry. Okay, I just got these lashes put on. I know she ain't trying to make me cry. Hold on now.
And I just, it was kind of that shocker moment, because for everyone who has felt like insignificant in this spiritual walk, you're not.
You're not.
Your ancestors are really rooting for you.
Your ancestors, you're their champion.
Motherfucking champion.
You're their champion. You're the apple of their fucking eye. You know how special you are.
So exactly. And if we can have these experiences, y'all can have these experiences. Y'all probably have already had these experiences. So it's about accepting and embracing the beauty, the royalty, the grace, the dignity, and especially as melanated folks, let's keep it 100. Like, as melanated folks, okay, because we was first. We was first, and mind you that this is in actual science too. This is an actual science.
Scientific fact.
Exactly. The world started with the Black woman. Okay? It just did. It's the divine feminine. Kalima, the dark mother. Okay. And again, if you also understand, that the carbon that's in the nighttime sky, where everything began, the origin, the space, that's the same carbon that's in the melanated pigment of our skin. Okay? This shit's important because we have to remember who we are.
No, it's not brown skin.
And this is no diss to anybody, but this is about...
We're just talking about us.
We're just talking about us. We're talking about us. We're talking about us. We're talking about, especially this time is about the rise of the oppressed, the Black woman, the black man, the Black melanated people, that oppression is now being, dissolved and lifted. I mean, come on, 2020 was the year of Black Lives Matter. Let's not even...
Hashtag. They have necklaces that say that now. And then the last time I had read something the other day that said, like, the last time the planets were in this type of orbit was like 400, 500 years ago. So the last time the planets were aligned in this fashion was before slavery.
And it's really kind of like the way they look, it's almost like they're a straight line at this point. And that's why the 21st is so big, because the planets are kind of like in a straight like line. So again, getting those downloads. So what should you do?
Right at your ass.
Yeah. So what would you do today? On the 21st. What would you do to prepare that ass? I know I'm going to be in some prayer time. I think I'm going to fast that day. I don't think I can.
Yeah, I'm going to be fasting too. Yeah.
I don't want anything clogging that shit up. I need to be able to hear, see.
Out there.
I've been doing a lot of shadow work leading up to it as well. I want to get as much shit out of me as possible. I want to be light.
Transparent.
Yes.
And light, as in, we also want to kind of get that heaviness off. Like for some of us, for me, I'm a big girl, always been a big girl, but I'm shedding weight not because I'm trying to look like nobody's model, bitch, but some of this weight, which I kind of want to talk about this in my topic because I'm an empath, and how sometimes we pick up weight to help protect and shield us, because when we're like vulnerable to everyone's emotions, this weight kind of helps absorb some of that energy.
Yeah, like eat the fupa, bitch, since you're so hungry. Yeah. Eat the fupa then. Take a bite of slap it on your forehead since you're so hungry.
Oh my God. And I know y'all empaths too, so it's just like, so I don't know, do we want to get into the empath conversation? Because we need to take a proper transition.
Being an empath, man, this shit is what the fuck. Shit make you just want to say what the fuck sometimes. Like, I went like majority of my life struggling with being an empath and not knowing it. And so I would always, especially as a child, I was an extreme empath as a child, like really, really little. So I would pick up on everybody else around me energy, and I wouldn't know what to do with all the different energies. And so I would get very anxious. I would always be anxious. I would always be like very exhausted. Like, my energy will always just be drained, and I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what the fuck is this life? Like, what the actual fuck? And then it got to a point where I had went so long operating like that I got to a point where I just shut down, and I figured out a way how to block out everybody else's energy. But that actually, it kind of did something to my social skills. Yeah, and then that's when like the introversion like kicked in hard for me. Like, being an empath made me like very, very, very introverted.
So subconsciously you went into stealth mode. Yeah. Well, I mean, being I've learned over time how to disconnect myself from the energy, because being an empath, it doesn't affect me in the way where I'm like, okay, y'all fucked up, so I'm gonna be fucked up. I'm like, how are we gonna unfuck this? I'm a Capricorn.
Period, big goat.
The goat skills kick in. What the fuck do we gotta do? Do we need to fast? Do we need to pray? Do we need to pull up? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we? I'm going straight into how are we going to solve this? And I got into the fashion where I'm over here trying to help somebody, get some things together, and I'm putting more work into your shit than you're putting into your shit. You know what I mean? So I think that's my biggest shadow aspect of being an empath, because I'm always trying to fix some shit, okay? Yes. And some shit that's not my fucking job to fix. So I think after a while, like as far as like those energetic fields, I've worked very, very hard to solidify my energetic shield. So I'm to the point now where I can just like really cut that shit off. Like, no. Like, I see it, I see it all, but I'm just like, that sure is a lot of shit you got going on there. Like, did you want some help with it? You know what I mean? And sometimes they're like, yes, please, bitch, help me, Kia, please, help me, please. And then, sometimes they're like, don't touch my fucking stuff. So it just depends, you know what I'm saying, on who you're working with. And so that at times can become difficult, because you're trying to, bend over backwards and go out of your way to help everybody, and you're trying to help people that don't want to be helped. So, me blocking my energy off and me creating that energetic shield has been so, so beneficial to me, not only as a woman, but as a practitioner, as a mother, because I don't want to bring that shit into my personal life.
For real.
I don't.
For real. And for me as an empath, like, I've learned, like, I've been an empath my entire fucking life, and I'm a Virgo. Yay, earth signs.
Earth signs. Hey. We in the ground, bitch.
Yes, we grounded as fuck. And then with Virgo, the archetype of the Virgin is something sweet and something delicate. So obviously, that delicate, we take on a lot more emotions than we let on. And like Capricorns, we want to fix, but my empathy turned into a shadow aspect that we now know as codependency. And my empathy made me cripple my identity, leaned on being able to feel other people's emotions and to gratify their emotional well-being and not, figuring out what's going on. And right through. And this is where I've like, don't cry, bitch.
Yeah, because I'm.
Because this not with these lies. But I've now, like, spirit come through. Thank you. This is what's been so hard, leading up to all of these astrological events, because I'm feeling and really sitting with my emotions for the first time in my life. And I'm not trying to use another person or another situation as an avenue to feel something. And it's a lot. Like the weight of my own emotions on top of what I've been carrying, emotionally from my clients, as a tarot reader. And I will just fess up, I did a horrible job of disconnecting from other folks' energy. I mean, because I would go read the cards and then I'd be coming home making dinner and I'd be crying and shit. I'm like, what the hell? And I know someone's energy. At the same time, the codependent in me is like, I'm helping them and I'm validated through their emotional experience. And now it's validating my own emotional experience, which has been a very scary, but learning how rewarding thing. So, and that's the main reason why I want to talk about being an empath, because I mean, a lot of us have this codependency wound. And to break down codependency, like you said, your identity is so wrapped up in another person's experience. And my thing was, it had led me down some dark paths. I mean, it made me suicidal as fuck when these people weren't accessible. It also turned into like I went to several psychiatrists and they were giving me bipolar, they were giving me this, and it was like, no, this is just codependency. Okay. And this is how, you do not know how to respond to just your own emotions, and you think everyone else's emotions are your responsibility. And that's the thing. And now coming into awareness of like my shadow of my empath, now it's like, okay, now how do I release it? How do I take better care of myself? How do I, become more emotionally responsible for me? And like that inner child work did a lot, because it's like, would you expose your child, to, this stranger and let this stranger dump on them and tell them all this inappropriate shit? You're going to shield your baby,
Exactly.
You're going to shield your baby. You're like, this conversation is not good for my child. And so I've had to learn how to cut off certain conversations. I've had to learn how to just be okay with not being okay. And that, and that's the biggest thing. It's just like, polarity. We are in a state of duality. So there are just days emotionally where I'm just like, oh my God.
Shit.
There are just some days. There are just some days where it's just like, But in those shadow aspects, or in those Lilith moments, and we love Lilith because Lilith is the dark queen, but she's also the mysterious one. She's also our rebellious one. She's the first woman, for real. So I believe Lilith was black as fuck. That's just me. But it's in those moments that we understand and get that aha moment of what this is where we can tap into our talents and abilities. And I've been tapping into my creativity. I'm a writer, and I'm also a comedian. I love to make folks laugh. I like to chuckle at my damn self, because I'm a damn cartoon character sometimes. So it's like, but I'm learning to embrace all of that, and that I can say, yeah, this is who I am, and this is what I love to do. And being an empath, oftentimes we get so caught up in that focus of, I got to take care of everybody.
Yep.
And we become that martyr. And that martyr syndrome is like, we don't know what to do without it. And because the universe had stripped me of those connections that made me go into that pattern, and trying to relearn that shit. And it was especially toxic around men. So it was very much like they had to pull, like, listen, no, because you messing with devil dick right now. We can't do this shit. We can't do this shit no more.
Like, all the devil dick.
All the devil dick. I rebuke the devil. I rebuke thee. I rebuke you, you satisfying ass motherfucker.
Cleanse your soul first. Leave me into no damn oblivion.
Okay. I'm ready for my Archangel Michael dick, okay?
Okay. Come through, Ogun.
Come through, Daddy. Come through. But yeah, I mean, So I know some of y'all have been like, okay, how do I know I'm an empath? Sometimes, you can get headaches constantly. You can feel anxious all the time. You go, especially around, so you might be finding you're around somebody and your shit starts to shift, and I mean,
panic attacks and shit.
Panic attacks are very normal. Depression is very normal for empaths, very, very normal, because it's excess emotion. So now it's all about being able to push the emotion that you're absorbing out and let that flush. And the reason why we're here, because we're big as filters, okay? We're like, we clean up the atmosphere. Now it's gonna get harder with the 5G and all that kind of shit and all that kind of stuff. So it's important to keep your temple cleansed. And that's a lesson I'm still learning too. It's like, okay, I need to be kinder to my body. Yes, I love me some Harolds. I love me some motherfucking Harolds. But my body can't take all this Harold.
Not no good for us, Harold. Chickens ain't no good for us.
Damn.
And we from Chicago up here, so we love
what about the fries?
I like taters.
Shout out to Harold. What you talking about?
Shout out.
We gonna miss you, baby.
Man.
Bro, this shit is a Pinot all the time. Come on, let's do something different. What can we do?
Shit. That's why I'm not actually, what's been helping me as far as the food thing is because I love Asian food, I've actually been cooking more of that stuff because them Asian folks be skinny as fuck.
Yeah, it's real hard to find a fat Asian. Unless they sumo wrestlers. The sumo wrestlers be fat specifically
for their job.
And they have muscle. They don't even really be fat. Because you see some sumo wrestlers, they got muscle. It's like, daddy, I will gladly get fucked by a sumo wrestler. I will gladly let that motherfucker
get bench pressed and
throw the rice and be like, ah. How did we get to that?
Is what I answered for saying.
Listen, I know my answer thing this morning. This just me. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, I've been because honestly, we shook it.
Woo!
On that note.
Okay. Let me get myself together.
Empaths, protect your energy. Be careful who you fucking.
Be careful, okay? Protect yourself. Protect your children. Grounding. Cleansing. The cleansing baths.
She's the queen of the cleansing baths. Oh, she just made this coconut shit. It's like Ricky in a bath, okay?
I laughed it.
Like, get your life together. And I'm like, seriously, those cleansing baths, they changed my life.
Yeah.
Have your protective jewelry on, evil eye stuff, evil eye bracelets, very, very helpful. Like, oh my God. And just generally, just having emotional awareness. Always be cognizant. What am I feeling? Is this me or is this somebody else's shit? Your body will tell you automatically, and just having a sense of emotional awareness, understanding what you're feeling at all times, because that's going to give you the ability to not just transmute and to utilize the emotions for fuel, especially if you're creative. Usually every empath has some kind of creative outlet. So
use some hands.
Use some hands, use your voice, flow with it.
And if it is you, then get to the root of it. Figure out what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to say, you motherfucking right, I'm triggered. You motherfucking right, I'm triggered.
Like, you go, trigger.
You motherfucking right, you motherfucking right. But why are you triggered? Deal with it. Get to the source of that. Okay? Let the triggers be your guides. Understand that if this man is triggering you, if this job is triggering you, if these kids are triggering you, if this friend is triggering you, if your family is triggering you, understand where the source of that comes from. Because a lot of this goes back to childhood fractures and things in the beginning of our lives that need to be dealt with. So a trigger isn't a fracture. A trigger is a reminder that there's a fracture there. And so when we start to unravel and unpeel the onion layers of the things that are triggering us and pinpoint, like, well, when did I start getting sensitive when motherfuckers said this to me? Oh, shit. I remember I was in 3rd grade and that dumbass bitch, Rachel,
I was say mine
told me that my hair and my breath was ugly. And that shit hurt my fucking feelings.
And I never dealt with it. And so now,
and I ain't never dealt with
say something about my hair, I'm motherfucking triggered.
Exactly. You know, unravel that shit. Go back and talk to your childhood self and be like, you know what? I like your berets. You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
I just gonna tell you about your hair.
And now she on Facebook with glue dripping down her goddamn lace front. It's okay. Little you. It's okay. Heal. Send some light to her ass. Hold her. You know what I'm saying? Go back there and touch yourself. You know what I'm saying? Touch yourself and heal. It raises your vibration and it puts you in an energetic position where you can receive more downloads.
Exactly. And the whole point of the downloads is that we're co-creators. So again, we're getting a massive upgrade in our makeup and how we process. Our gifts are going to be working so much faster. Manifestation will be working so much faster, but it's also, you know, on polarity. Like, I've been trying to be very conscious of what I think up here because I bring shit into fruition up here. You know, if I want a nigga to come back, I'll be like, oh no, shit. You know,
did you call me? It's on my mind. Yeah.
Like, no, we don't want that shit. So so again, it's about being very intentional and focusing on what I do want. You know, and it's just like, listen, a bitch wants to, you know, be comfortable. A bitch wants to be happy. She wants to release love and laughter. She wants to make tons of delicious food. Like, come on. That's the shit we manifested. And greatness.
And authenticity. And the real you.
The real you.
The one that's hiding behind the mask that you put on.
Take the mask off.
Take your fucking mask off.
Mask off. Future voice.
Okay? I just not taking a Percocet, but I'm just saying you can still take the mask off and still resonate without taking the motherfucking Percocet. Take your mask off. Show the world your authentic self. You understand? Just being authentic.
Yes. And speaking of authentic, I just want to end on a light note. We want to send love and light to everyone on their spiritual journey. These next couple of weeks and the first couple of weeks of 2021, I feel like are going to be a bit chaotic for me, especially. I've been in hermit mode the whole year. I've been in hermit mode all year. And so Spirit is telling me to be patient and not rush it. And so a couple weeks ago, I was feeling like I wanted to rush. Like, why have I been in hermit mode for so long? Like, you know what I mean? Why am I isolating myself? But Spirit is like, be patient. Be patient with yourself. So I surrendered and I'm patient with myself. And so I know definitely these next couple of weeks I will still be in hermit mode. But I feel like it'll be a lot of scatteredness, a lot of confusion. So I do want to send out love and light.
Confirmation. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Okay.
We at the finish line, y'all. We got to keep going. When you see it, we at the finish line, that stuck with me because I seen a literal finish line. Like when you visualize the finish line, that gives you like so much more drive to keep going. And when you literally at the finish line, that's when all the weapons start forming. And the weapons been coming at me hard lately, like hard. Don't cry. No cry. Yeah, I've been challenging myself to be more vulnerable. That's some strong ass shit. That's some strong ass shit to do, to be vulnerable.
It really is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be a strong ass bitch right now, and I'm not gonna say don't cry no bitch, let it out if it come out. But y'all, I've been struggling with
let it out, baby. Let it out.
Oh.
We're here for you. Let it out. Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
I've been struggling with guilt for the last couple of weeks, and today I'm choosing to release it and not hold on to it no more, because a lot of the times we'll keep ourselves trapped in a cycle that we're causing. I'm placing the guilt on my own self, and I've been sitting around like waiting like a victim for somebody to come and grab me and save me from the guilt. Nobody's gonna save you. Nobody's gonna save me. Nobody's gonna save us. We're our own heroes.
Yep.
Just like we can play the victim, we can play the hero. So I'm choosing to play the hero and release the guilt that I was feeling, because I tried. I was this close to committing suicide. This would have been the third time I attempted to commit suicide in my life. And while I'm at a point in my spiritual journey where I felt like I was above that, and I felt like that was like a major backtrack for me, because I know my purpose and I know why I'm here, and I'm grateful for being here. But I feel like a part of me just been mad at myself for even wanting to leave. So today I'm choosing to release that. Oh, that had been wanting to come out all this time.
I felt like it was something. I felt like it was something. And Katie, it's important that we do, when we're talking about authenticity, that we do show our authentic selves to others. It's important that you live an authentic life and not what society wants you to be, not what society wants you to look like, what society wants you to feel, because at the end of the day, you have to sit with your own thoughts. You have to sit with your own emotions, and you have to sit with your feelings and trudge through them. But I want you to understand one thing. If you would have left, they would have reset your ass and sent you right back here. They would have been like, nope, turn around. They would have brought you right back anyway. You're on your path, and we're proud of you.
Absolutely.
For being strong enough to continue. You know what I mean? This has been a difficult week for me as well. This has been a very, very difficult week for me. And it seems like as soon as we talked about I'm getting deja vu, like as soon as we talked about prophecy, as soon as we talked about doing this podcast, I started to be spiritually attacked. People that I thought were, with me, and people that I thought believed in me, people that I thought were my friends, people that I thought were my sisters, just completely turned their back on me for absolutely no reason, with no explanation. And I had to be okay with that. But at the end of the day, I know the spirit is leading me somewhere great. And I also know that at the end of the day, if I can sit here and say I walked authentically through the situation, I was strong enough to choose not to Peter pop the fuck off. You understand? I was strong enough to just take my lesson, and knowing when to hold them, and knowing when to fold them, knowing when to give, and knowing when to draw back, and knowing that at the end of the day, absolutely nobody belongs to you. Some people are assignments, and some people come to be taught, and some people come to learn. And then when that time is over, it's time for them to move on to other things. And I have to be at peace with that. And if those things are great, then let them be great. And if those things are not great, then let them not be great. But it's not my decision on what path somebody else is going to walk. And we have to be our own champions. So I can't sit here in the energy of, being scared and afraid or tormented or anything. Like, okay, if this isn't going to go well, then everything's going to be my fault. And, all of these other emotions that I've been dealing with, and also the energy of betrayal as well that I've been dealing with, if we're being authentic here. So I had to really sit with myself and say, well, what exactly is this trying to teach me? And what this is trying to teach me is that at the end of the day, we all are children of the thing that created us. We all have free will. We all have our own choice. And we have to make the choice to be stronger than the entities that try to attach to you and convince you to do ungodly things. It's easy to go down. It's the easiest shit. You can always dip down into a lower vibration. That real strength kicks in when you choose to raise your vibration, no matter what is happening, no matter what is going on, and get in tunnel vision, because we are being called to purpose right now collectively as a species. And when I say the finish line, everybody not gonna fucking make it.
Trying to strap the fuck up.
Now, before I said it was harvest time, I feel like right now it's reaping time.
What have you sown?
Okay? What have you sown? And what is going to be reaped? And right now, energetically, to stay protected, to stay on purpose, to stay strong, because there is definitely some relief coming. And nobody has the answer. Nobody can say that this is what's going to happen. This is exactly how it's going to happen. This is why it's going to happen. Nobody knows the answer. But we all feel it approaching. So if you can go into that situation and go into this new earth with a clear conscience and a definitive purpose as to what it is that your calling is and how you're supposed to move forward, now you're getting on some queen shit. Now you're getting on some king shit. And now you're moving into the energy of peace. And that was so powerful that you chose to be strong.
And them lashes still intact, bitch.
And them lashes still intact. Okay. All right. Let's be real, guys. Let's move into our purpose. Let's learn about our ancestors. Let's learn about where we came from and why we're here and what it is that we're here to learn, what it is that we're here to do, and how we're going to ultimately take our lessons and take our knowledge and be of some assistance to the collective. Because the thing that made us is always watching. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call him, whatever you want to call her, whatever you want to call it, we all know that there is a higher being in charge. Okay? Even if you want to call it your inner self. However, because we are all seeds of the thing that made us. So even if you want to say God is within you, whatever it is, figure out what it wants. Start there. My ancestors said that.
My ancestors said, period.
My ancestors said that. So y'all, thank you for listening to our episode and attending. Okay? We appreciate you guys. And we're going to see y'all on the other motherfucking side. Hopefully. You know what I mean? We're going to see y'all on the other side. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.